Oh, we're back for Poke Nation. Jim Gazzolo, Heath Schroyer, and got $2.5 million you loan me? Oh, that was last week. I'm sorry. That was last week.
Not a bad. It was a pretty good week last week.
That was a pretty good week for you. Got any naming rights this week yet?
No, not yet. Not yet. You never know, though. You never know.
Yet.
Never know. Keyword yet.
Interesting conversations last week with David Griffin about that, huh? And an interesting outlook on, how he's bought into you guys and your visions.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of unique and interesting, to say the least. One thing I want to get to is as we've moved down this naming rights road and that is, do you see college sports overall, with all the changes in that, do you see it ever slowing down at this point, or are we just in a world where every week, every 2 weeks, you're going to have to be adjusting the business model, at least, of college sports?
I think we're going to be in this mode for the next 18 months or so, personally, and then I think it will slow down and settle down. But I think the next 18 months to even 2 years, there's going to be a lot of movement. There's going to be a lot of it's going to look completely different, in my opinion. Obviously, the NCAA right now is meeting on, just the governance and what are we going to do with
who's going to rule NCAA?
Exactly right. And so,
what are the rules going to be in place?
That's right. What does all that look like? I mean, what it's going to look like compared to what it looked like 5, 10 years ago, 2 years ago, a year ago is going to be completely different.
And you want to make this as relevant as possible.
100%. We have to. I mean, it's our responsibility. I believe in this place. I believe in this community, in this university, and we have great coaches in place. We have great donors. We have great support. It's just changing the mindset, and I think that we've done that. We're obviously it's a work in progress, and you continue to have to work on your culture every day, every week, every month. But we've come a long way, but we got a long way to go. But our ceiling is so high, in my opinion, as a department. And I just want to help us reach our potential.
We're about a week away from everything, from the year anniversary of everything having changed.
How about that?
But in reality, as you look back on it now, you never want to say, well, the Hurricanes did good. Mm-hmm. But
for sure,
it has forced you guys into making decisions that long-term could pay off. Is this a situation where you're making the best of a bad situation, or is it the fact that there's an advantage to be taken at this and this is an opportunity we can't miss?
I think a little bit of both, Jim, to be honest. It's, what we went through as a community, as a university, as an athletic department, was a lot. And we're still recovering, and it's going to be a while until we truly recover. But, when you look down the road, we're going to be better off for it. I hate to say that a hurricane was a blessing, because that's not the case. But it made us change out of necessity. And a lot of times people change out of necessity or choice, and we had to do it out of necessity because, we to survive. It made us think differently. And I remember, I know I've said this on the show before too, but I remember coming back into the arena and being emotional, seeing the water and seeing the town. But then I also realized that we have an unbelievable opportunity to rebuild bigger, better than we've ever been before. And what better time than the present? I mean, we literally are at ground level. We're at ground zero. We have an unbelievable opportunity to rebuild. So let's do it bigger, better, and bolder.
I know you don't read the newspaper, but last week I had a story in Sunday's paper about how you've redone the athletic department in general, heading into year two of your tenure. Are you happy with everything? And what's your biggest sense of pride for this?
Gosh, the biggest sense of pride is I'm really happy. I'm never content because I think that the department's growing and it's going to continue to grow, and that's what's exciting. I take a lot of pride in watching our young people in our department continue to grow and evolve and get bigger and better. I take a lot of personally, I take a lot of pride in that. The culture of our program, our department is, in my opinion, at an all-time high. There's enthusiasm in the halls. People are moving in one direction. Doesn't mean we don't make mistakes. Doesn't mean that we're not going to make mistakes. But I'm excited about the energy that I feel in the building and watching, the Melanie Coins, if you will. I mean, watching her just continue to evolve and get better. Tanner taking on more and more responsibilities and just becoming such a great administrator. It's exciting for me to see the people in our department grow.
When we come back, we're going to have your guest this week,
Logan Lofton. Yeah.
Logan Lofton, who does ticket sales for you, one of the guys you've brought in. So we'll talk to him about it. But the main thing I want to get to after that is then I want to ask you about the direction of the program in general after that. We'll get to all that right after this on Polk Nation.
Welcome back to Polk Nation. It's a pleasure to have Logan Lofton. Welcome, my man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely good to have you here.
Wait a minute. Have we ever had anybody that wasn't a pleasure for you?
No, because I invite them.
Yes, you do. It's your show. It's
a good answer. That's a good answer.
So, Logan is in charge of tickets. He's a ticket coordinator for all of athletic events. Welcome. It's a huge job. So let's get right to it, okay? You interviewed via Zoom. I remember.
I did. Yes,
I remember all that. Why come here? Tell me your story. Where'd you go to school? Tell Polk Nation how you got here and how's your first, few months in Lake Charles been?
Yeah. So I'm originally from Wilmington, North Carolina. I went to UNC Chapel Hill for school. When I initially went, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but after a while and looking at the athletic department there, going to some games, I kind of realized I wanted to be a part of that. Atmosphere. Just that game day atmosphere is something you can't replicate anywhere that you go. So after I graduated from UNC Chapel Hill, I went to Florida State for the last 2 years for the Masters of Sport Management program. They had one of the top ones in the country. And Florida State was also in the ACC, so I still got to see my Tar Heels play whenever we play them.
Brother.
So I graduated from there this year in the end of April, and I put out some feelers for some positions, and I had experience working in ticketing at Florida State in their ticket office, and I was there the last 2 years during COVID. Which was a really good experience just to see how people were able to adapt and operate in those kind of situations. And then Tanner Steins reached out to me, the deputy athletic director, and he was like, hey, I was looking over your resume and we feel like you would be a good fit here. So I got in a Zoom meeting like Heath was saying, and we talked a couple of times, and I just felt really comfortable with everyone there in leadership, and it was just a really good place for me to be. You kind of sold me on the fact that it was this really cool rebuilding stage, this process that a lot of people don't get to be a part of, kind of a rebranding, rebuilding period where who else can say that that's happening with them? They get to basically rewrite the story and decide this is the direction that they're going and the narrative that they want to put out, and it's just a really cool place for a first position to be a part of.
Well, and I'll tell you this, the one of the biggest things that I wanted to do when I took over was revamp the ticket office. I think that the level of professionalism, the organization, the clear objectives, the accountability now in that office is at an all-time high. And honestly, I've heard many fans talk about the experience coming to that window. And we talked about last week. David Griffith was on the show and talked about athletics being the front porch to our university and really to Southwest Louisiana. Well, think about it this way. The ticket office, that window, a lot of times is the only interaction that a fan has with McNeese State University or their athletic department. So that experience at the window is everything, and we preach it all the time. And Logan carries it over with his team. And to take that further, is I had heard some complaints in prior years. Oh, jeez, for sure
about that. Mostly that it wasn't engaging, that it was just very tough to get a hold of, very tough to communicate with. So one of the things you must have had to do was kind of revamp that, because that was kind of the attitude of there was almost a split between fan and ticket agent. Did you know that going in?
I had heard some things that some fans, and like Heath was saying and you were saying, that some of the experiences they may have had may not have been the most positive, and sometimes they've, like you said, have been hard to reach. Haven't been able to get on the phone with people, even to ask simple questions. And so me and my two interns that I have, Megan and Nick, they've been fantastic. I made a point to tell them that anytime that someone comes up, it could be a question that you think they know the answer to. Act like it's the best question in the world. Show them that you care and that you want their experience to be as the best thing possible. Like he was saying, when they first come up to the window, that experience may be the only one they have before they actually show up to the game. And it may be their first interaction with McNeese athletics in general. So if they come up and you show them a smiling face and can help them with any of their problems or at least lead them the right way, they're going to remember that experience forever.
The thing that strikes me is that McNeese over the years kind of had an attitude of we're McNeese, but it seems like now we're fan-friendly McNeese. That you guys are running as a business, not as an athletic department, but as a business for the entertainment dollar. Is that a big change? Or did you get that at Florida State?
Florida State is an interesting one because, especially going from UNC and Florida State, since it's on a bigger scale, I felt like their situation wasn't nearly as personal just because they had so many fans to talk to. They had so many just over and over. And here, you see the same people, the same names, the same families. They've come here for 30 years. And it's always great to learn their names, their faces, and just see how passionate they are. And that's something that I've been really interested in just learning their story and how excited they are to be at McNeese. And I've been trying to become a part of that with the short time that I've been here so far.
Yeah, because here they think they are McNeese. They're a part of.
Yes,
it's not just here's my check, here's my tickets.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for sure. And you hit on it, Jim. But we needed to make changes, and our philosophy in this department is that we're going to be student athlete centered and fan and donor friendly, and that starts with that ticket office. It is it's the front porch to our department. Todd Butler, one of our senior associate athletic directors, oversees that as well. Melanie Coyne has her hands in it. We're all a team, but what Logan is leading right now and what he's doing in that ticket office is it's phenomenal. And the days are going to get better and better and better, and it's awesome.
When we return on Poke Nation, we'll talk more to Logan about this year, this fall, and the upcoming seasons right after this. We're back with Logan Lofton talking ticketing at McNeese. And obviously the biggest part of your job is to get more people in the buildings.
Yes, sir.
After last spring, which must have been bizarrely difficult for everybody to understand, how are football ticket sales and what are you getting from fans is what they'd like to see?
Ticket sales and renewals have been going great so far. A lot of people are just really excited to get back to a sense of normalcy. So after having a year where not only was football in the spring, which is already a weird thing, but limited attendance, just various things that have impacted sports, especially our football team. This year, people are excited to get back. It's Coach Frank Wilson's first real fall season, and people are excited to see what he can do with the team. So everyone is just really, really enthusiastic about what's going to come and how the team's going to do this year, for sure.
Obviously, there's fear of COVID coming back. A lot of talk about that.
Yes, sir.
Do you have to kind of get ready for that, or have at least thoughts of what are we going to do in case of?
Now, if it was COVID last year again, and I'm sure that he can talk about this more, it was probably learn as you go each day. But because we've as a school have gone through that already, we know how it's going to be if that happens again, and we have to go into those kind of protocols. It'll be a lot more a lot easier to work through those challenges, and with leadership from Heath, Todd, and Tanner, like he was talking about, we'll be able to navigate it. We're expecting to have full capacity and have fans there, so it'll be a really good season. We're really excited.
Basketball season wise, ticket sales, how are you doing that with the arena, and where does the arena stand?
Well, we should be in there for league season. We should be in there by the end of December and January. So we're going to sell a reserve ticket. Obviously, and here's what's new now as well, is you can buy a season ticket for basketball today. That used to be not the case. And that's the other thing that we wanted to change was that you could only buy football tickets right now. Well, now you can buy any season ticket you want. You can buy today.
Wait a minute, what?
Honestly, for sure.
Yep.
Hey. But anyway, let's not go there. Okay. So we're going to sell the platinum seats again, and then we're also going to sell reserve seating, and we're going to have reserve sections this year in the HHP, in the Legacy Center, because we don't. How many games is going to be in there? Being able to sort through the arena, we're changing some seating within the Legacy Center and those things, but. The future of that Legacy Center and the seating and what we're doing with it is really, really going to be great.
And Logan, I want to ask you about the interest in women's basketball at McNeese right now. A lot of talk about Coach Lynn Kennedy in his first year. Are you seeing tickets there? Interest in that at least?
Yeah, for sure. So we start, like he was talking about, we just started selling basketball tickets. They are available for purchase. During the Cowboy Caravans is kind of when we first introduced those for people to purchase. We've had people come up and are really excited about what Coach Lynn Kennedy is doing, especially after hearing him speak on the podium at those caravans. And with the ticket that you purchase, you get to go to all women's and men's games. It's included with that ticket for the doubleheaders, because all of our conference games will be doubleheaders this year. So a lot of buzz around it, and we're really excited to see what he can do with the team.
I want to ask you, what the Cowboy Caravan, how did that do as far as getting season ticket sales, at least people's interest in them?
It went fantastic. We went to 4 different locations, and I know you've talked to Heath about this as well. All those locations had fans who were really excited for the year and very passionate about McNeese. Some just weren't able to come to the ticket office to get tickets because of the location they live, right? So this was a great way to come to them, provide them options for ticketing. We had the full layout with the seating maps, all the tickets available, whatever they wanted. And they got to purchase them in person with us at the venue, and we sold a good amount of tickets, and really got some new fans too to come to some of the games.
And as far as that goes for the whole thing, as far as, do you see people of interest more this year from what you've heard about in the past? Because it seems like post-hurricane, people are taking more interest in the community.
Yeah, I think so as well. After having just such a a rough year or two, some people who may normally have not gone to games are starting to think, oh, this will be a great thing to do as a community, and to go and really experience something that's community oriented, something that everyone can come to and really see what this town is about. Fans who have heard about McNeese football games and have really thought about, oh, maybe I should go. This is the year to come, and people are really, really happy to see that we're going to have a really big football season.
Can you do something with the cannon? I hate when the cannon goes off.
It's because you're old.
Well, I feel like I feel like I'm in Normandy or something. Come on.
All right, so hey, forget him. I mean, it's Doomsday, right?
Yep.
Like, it's the reason he's called Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Like, okay. All right, but let me ask you this. So,
Yeah, of course.
what's the best part so far for you with Lake Charles and Southwest Louisiana? What's the best thing about it to you?
So Lake Charles is an interesting place. So I'm from North Carolina, which is south, but compared to here, it's north, right? So
For sure.
There's definitely some similarities in that respect, but something that's really interesting here is just how community-oriented and how everyone here knows everyone. So I've learned that everyone here is either someone's brother, they work with each other, they're which I think is a really cool thing, because you get to meet these people's families and just see how they've been here their entire lives, how they've been supporters of McNeese, and that just aspect is not something that I've experienced, especially at bigger schools or from the town I'm from. So just the community-oriented aspect and just how everyone here is in it together is just something that's really cool.
Where's your favorite restaurant?
Like in Lake Charles so far, I liked Bodine's. Bodine's was a cool place. I'm not a big seafood guy, but just the environment and just the kind of setup they have there with the live music is something that's really cool.
Oh,
Gravy on the rice or no rice and gravy?
I haven't had rice and gravy yet. Is that something I need to try?
Oh my gosh!
I feel like I'm missing out on a bunch of stuff.
Yes,
I got to try
yes.
a boudin ball as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, they're good.
They are?
Yeah.
I'll have to try one of those out there for sure.
We'll come back to Poke Nation. We'll get Coach's final thoughts after this. Well, we're back. Logan, interesting, comes from big school programs.
Yeah, for sure.
So you go fishing off the deep end of the pier, I guess, to get your talent.
Well, I think, too, the great thing about Logan, and it's about a lot of the people in our department, they've been to different places. They've seen different things. And you bring, young people with energy and creative ideas from other places. It only can enhance your program, and Logan really does that.
And you're selling them at the lowest point of the time.
For sure.
That's one thing that's interesting about this is you're getting kids to come here, sometimes sight unseen, in a town that's been destroyed.
Well, think about it this way, though, is if you're a young guy like Logan, and this is what I told him when I offered him a job, is, you're coming at a time where we're rebuilding and rebranding the university and the department. And you're always going to be able to use this experience for the rest of your career. Whether Logan stays here 2-3 years, whatever, but he'll always be able to refer back to this moment in these years when he goes for a job interview 10, 15 years from now. Hey, I was part of a rebuilding process.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's hard, and and housing's hard and all that stuff, but you're going to look back on this and be able to use this experience for the future. And I say that to our whole department all the time, that it's an unbelievable opportunity that we all have to be able to refer back to this years down the road.
Interesting. I wanted to ask you about the $2.5 million you got for 10 years in the naming rights deal from David and Kimberly Griffin. What did that do to boost morale in your department? And more importantly, what does it mean for the future? Because now they see, it's almost like you got a team and you start winning games. They see that their work is paying off.
Absolutely. It's you can't measure the enthusiasm and the excitement in that building, and we had really good energy and we have a good culture. But to see that, for these people in our department to see it, and they all realize that this is everybody. This isn't just me or Claire or Dr. Roos. This is Logan. Logan has had conversations with David Griffin over the phone on tickets. It's our game day experience. It's our new marketing team. It's all the interactions when a person like David, comes through and people are nice to him and they treat him with respect. All of it matters. And so this isn't just, hey, Heath and Claire, taking, David out to lunch 20 times. No. It's bigger than that. And more people were involved in that. So it's a team win. It's a team. It's just, we are a team, and everything and everyone matters. And, you can't measure what this did for for our department.
And what it says for the possibilities.
No question. I'm telling you, we have an unbelievable opportunity. Our ceiling is extremely high. The sky is the limit for this department. And
all right.
No. Seriously, listen. If you thought this, but if people would have said, 6 months ago, 2 months ago, let alone 6 years ago, hey, you're going to get named, there's no way. But why not?
Look, I've been on the bandwagon for 10 years, and I hate to say that. But I always thought this was a very underutilized opportunity, an underutilized university that didn't want to be good. Mm-hmm. Almost like it was afraid of success.
I think so. I think that, they kind of, made themselves, well, we're just McNeese. We're only McNeese. I remember coming here as a coach and driving around and seeing the casinos and seeing the water, and I'm like, this place is a gold mine.
A gold mine.
I literally said in my first 2 days here, I'm like, this place is a gold mine. It's just, familiarity breeds content. And when you bring people from the outside in that have seen other things, you're like, man, this is unbelievable. This place is a gold mine, I'm telling you. And
where were you 10 years ago when I was younger? No, look, you're preaching to the choir. I hate to say that. But one of the things I think that things like this does, things like that commitment, things like the fact that you look, even if you're just looking to what the future might be as far as the conference goes, it shows people that we're not just McNeese. Right. We're not just going to stay status, building an arena. We're going to go out. We're going to do these things. I think that sends the message of the school more than anything.
Well, it is. And you know what? I just think it's an injustice to our fans. It's an injustice to our institution and our fan base. To not put our best foot forward, to not think about being big and bold. It's an injustice. Our fans and our people deserve the best, and I'm going to do everything I can to lead this department to the best.
And it sounds like you got some following now, at least. At least you got $2.5 million more worth of it. Thank you for joining us this week on Polk Nation.